What's up, everybody? I guess this is a continuation of the crash repair on the old lady's Crown Vic. We're getting this car disassembled. See, I power washed about half of it because I'm taking this fender off. I'm going to power wash the rest of it, but it took a really long time. This thing's been stored outside like its entire life, but the side looks pretty good. Not that it matters, because I got to sand all that white off anyway. And we hit underneath the hood, and we took the hood off. It's not on here anymore. There it is, right next to Muffin. That's the new hood. Friggin' replacement hood. None of this has much to do with the repair we're doing in this episode, except this thing. We're gonna steal this. But I'm about to move forward as taking this fender off and then trying to pop that little dent out of it, which is much better than the other fender I was working with. And then as soon as I get this fender loose, this front, whatever this is called piece, I know this is a radiator support back here. I don't know what this is called. But I've got all the fasteners out of it. I was gonna have it taken off already, except there's 2 locator pins there and here and on the other side, and you have to actually pull a fender to get that thing removed all the way. So that'll be coming off as soon as I get the fender. If you didn't know, on your car up here, the little section of plastic between your windshield and the hood is a gutter. Rainwater comes down and it trickles in, and there's this gutter way down in there, and the water works its way down, like down the fenders or somewhere to the ground. And if you ever wondered what the gutter part of a car looks like on one that's 29 years old, it's nasty. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, so I'll be cleaning that out tomorrow, the next time I have the car outside the shop. But anyway, I thought this was interesting. I noticed when we were horsing around with the stuff inside the car, seeing what works and what doesn't, surprisingly, most everything does. Except my police spotlight. It doesn't turn on. Anyway, I noticed that when you turn the windshield wipers on, the passenger side one works real good, aside from the blade being horrible. But the driver's side one, it just didn't move at all. And here's why. Can you get the hinge out of your way? Can you see it? This right here is the gear the windshield wiper guy sits on top of, and it pendulates right here, and yep, from right there. And this thing is supposed to come over here and pull this way and that way in order to make that guy this way and that way on your windscreen. Yeah, she's not connected, boys. That's not supposed to be that way. Oh, yeah. Oh. This has been broken for a very long time. Because that just does not turn all easy like the way it's supposed to. And the bolt right here, the bolt through there, completely rusted in half. This is a police car. I believe we told you it was a Georgie police car, because that's what the dude we bought it from thought. But we ran the Carfax, and it was born in 1992 to be a Florida police interceptor. And I have a photo we'll put up here of what it used to look like. It said Citizens Patrol on the side. So I guess it was not exactly police, but mostly police, sorta. I don't really know. I think they do tickets and stuff, but for whatever reason, this thing had ridiculously low miles on it, like its entire life. The entire time it was a police car, the thing only ever saw 100,000 miles Yeah, so this thing was a police car for 24 years of its life, the first 24 years of its life. But it only got 100,000 miles and 24 years of being a police car. It was like it was stationed in Miramar Beach or somewhere like that, and we looked it up. It had a really, really small, like, area, so it didn't have very far to patrol. And I'm thinking, especially when you look at the dash here, I'm thinking it spent most of its life sitting idle in a police station parking lot, just waiting to need the citizens to be patrolled. But they didn't need to be patrolled. Anyway, I thought that was really cool. That's really fun for me that the first time I ever done a burnout in my life, it was in a police car, even if it was decommissioned. Oh my goodness. After a very, very long fight with this other bolt that comes into the bottom of the fender to this radiator support here, that's where it was. Yep, there. And right here is what's left of it. This had a bolt head in the middle there, and the shaft of the bolt is still in the bracket that's on this fender, but they are now finally separated from that radiator support. That's right, Muffin. And I tried all sorts of stuff. I heated it up with a torch. There's lots of PB blaster. I tried grabbing the head of the bolt, what was left of it, with different pliers and vice grips. The little ball diamond tip on my rotary zip ended up being how I was able to get through it. I just like ground it down till it was nothing. Then I kept that ball in the center of the where the head used to be, and just kept grinding and grinding and grinding, and eventually it went all the way through it, and these two pieces popped loose. See here, that's why, yeah, you can kind of tell. That's why it's so ground. But anywho, it looks as though things might be coming apart here now. Now we got that front piece off, and we are loose here at this corner. It feels like I need to get back in there behind the spiders and pull that last mud flap type guy out of there. There's probably another fastener in there I don't see yet. So this is what it looks like here when you get that last mud flap out of the way. It's covering the space in between the fender and the car body, so you don't get mud and stuff all in your door jamb than in the car. So there's one more 10mm bolt here. There's also this bracket that ties into this mount. I thought this was going to come loose when I first pulled this flap off, because you see there's a bolt removed right there that held the mud flap on, but this thing is spot welded to the fender, so we got to take that mount loose. And I think the antenna bracket can stay on, and we'll be able to unplug this wire when we have clearance in the fender halfway removed. Alright, now with that bolt removed, the fender moves, and I think it might come off the car now. Yep. That's better. There we go. She is an open concept police car now. Alright, so this is where we are right now with the tear down on the old police car. And don't worry, this thing isn't going to be like set out to pasture. We're definitely going to keep this thing alive. But I'm not really sure. Maybe y'all comment below, like, I'm going to turn the frame and the cabin of the car into some sort of project. So I'm not sure if it's going to be like a drag car, drift car, burnout thing, whatever. But I'm sure we're going to be doing burnouts in it. We're going to like go through this motor, change the head gaskets on it, get it where it runs right again without the oil being full of coolant. And the only thing is, I'm not sure, see right now I'm taking this radiator support off of it. I'm not sure if we're going to like go back with the old body panels off of the other car, or if we're going to do like some kind of rat rod looking thing where just we found a way to mount all our electronics and all our stuff that used to be on the fenders and the fender wells, and then just keep it all like open concept, whole front of the car wide open, cool looking thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll take the bent up core support off of the other car, put it back on, then we could have a hood on it with like no fenders or something. Not really sure what direction we'll go there. But anyway, back to tearing this thing down and getting this radiator support off for the green car. I've got my fan shroud out, which is cool because that's going on the green car too, or blue. The color is like dark tourmaline, so I don't know if it's blue or green, but it looks like both. Anywho, I got that shroud out, I got this hose off, we took out the air box and the washer fluid reservoir here, and I just got this power steering reservoir set to the side, as well as whatever this thing is. This is like a vacuum reservoir diaphragm type of situation, it looks like, because it's all standalone by itself and just has this vacuum hose. But I thought this was really interesting here on this power steering reservoir. Check this out. This thing has a cooler. See that little guy right there? You might be able to see that little guy right there. That is a little power steering pump cooler. I never would have thought. Like, I knew, especially, you know, it being a police car, it's got some extra coolers and whatnot. I wasn't surprised about the transmission having a big cooler in the radiator, but I did not expect to see an extra cooler on the power steering pump. I don't know if that's a common thing. I haven't torn the other car down this far. I don't think it has a power steering pump cooler, but I know my trucks don't. So that was just an interesting thing. I guess it being a cop car, they beefed everything up, even the power steering system. So you get in those long police chases where you gotta keep cranking the wheel left and right super hard, you ain't gonna overheat the power steering system. Yeah, I thought that was really weird. There's a power steering pump cooler. Now I'm gonna keep moving forward here with getting this radiator pulled and this other inner fender well. And then we should be getting close to being free and clear on that radiator support. Alright, we are about at a stopping point for the night, but it looks different now. See, I got the radiator and the condenser, I think it's called, for the AC system. And we have our trans fluid cooler hung off to the side there. Got the other fender and the other fender well out. She looking like a open concept design cop car now. Now tomorrow after work, the next thing I'll do, this radiator support is almost free. We just have to come in and pull these body mount bolts, one on each side there, and then everything is loose except for these two little pieces here and here. They're separated from the radiator support, but I got to get them off of that plastic guy. Alright, so I've roundabouts to myself pretty close to a stop-in point and moving this thing out of the shop point with this car. Aside from the radiator support here, all I've got left to pull are the two 18mm body mounts, and I have to go grab a socket set because I ain't got no 18mm in a deep well. So I can't quite get that off yet. But we're going to be pulling in Missy's car in the morning, so I got this all buttoned up with the wheel back on and all of my wiring harness. I got my couple grounds hooked back together, We plopped the battery down here on the frame and strapped it down to the frame. And I took the fan off the front of the motor. The radiator is temporarily deleted for now. Okay, alright. Is that what time it is? Yay. The radiator's temporarily deleted for now, so I pulled the fan. That way I could take this old radiator hose here and hook one inlet to the other inlet. That way the system is sort of kind of sealed up, and it's got a blown head gasket, so I'm thinking when I go to start it and drive it out and move it around out of the shop and around in the yard, that if I didn't do that, it would be blowing coolant and oil and stuff out. I also came down to my transmission cooler fittings that go into the radiator, and this thing's a cop car, so it's got this additional trans cooler. So I just put in a little piece of hose and routed the two fittings that run into the radiator together. So I should be able to start it and drive it and not blow all the transmission fluid all over everywhere. So yeah, not much of a car here right now, especially when I take this core support off, but it should still start and run, so let's find out. So I got my body mounts bolts loose, or the nuts rather, the nut and these big washers. I got them off of both sides, and look at my shiny new tools I had to get. I needed this 18mm deep whale socket, so might as well get shiny new tools, shiny new stanchions. Ooh, half-inch stuff. I have very little half-inch stuff, so that's really cool. But anyway, I like shiny new tools. I got my mounts loose. This thing is loose from the car now, so now we can remove it, and then we're done pulling parts for this crash repair project. Then we get to take all these parts and clean them up real good, get rid of the rusty fellers down there, get them all primed up and ready. Well, this just keeps looking cooler and cooler the more pieces I take off of it, I want you to know. Police car power steering intercooler. Ooh. I still got these two bits that I'm going to remove and keep with the radiator support. Just gotta take care of these rusty screws, cut them off and drill them out or whatever. But after those two little pieces, I have everything off that I need off for this particular project. You see this harness? You know what that was? That was police car stuff. Sirens and lights and whatnot. This is what a radiator support looks like removed from the car. only even a little bit crusty. But that is not too bad for 30 years old. I just took my air blower from the compressor and blew off everything. I'm going to get the power washer out here in a second. But look at the state of the affairs. Especially up here. Remember just a little bit ago this was nasty. It's still nasty, but now it's not completely and utterly full to the brim with debris. Lots of dusty fellas were in the air. But yeah, check this out. See my body mount down here? She's got adjustable mounts, boys. Look at that. See? See? Factory ride height. Monster truck body lift. For free. Okay. Well, that wraps up my second video of the crash repair here. Got this car stripped down to the frame in the front and pulled out of the shop. Now we get to go back in and get all the parts we pulled off of here all prepped and ready for paint and painted up and installed on the green car or blue car or whatever color it is in the next video. Yeah! Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Have a wonderful day.